Happy Christmas, Moles!
That was a bit abrupt ending. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, same to you.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, it's like next week.
I can't believe that it's this time of year already.
I know, 2025 has been a year.
I don't even know what season of the year we were last recording this in.
I don't even know it. No, I think was it September?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was autumny.
Yeah, it was just after I got back from India.
Was
and then,
it?
yeah, so it's, I kind of like this, little season.
Yeah.
We do it.
This is the season of the mole.
Yeah, the Mole Patrol. How have you been, Mole?
I've been good.
Yeah.
I just got back from doing shows in Vietnam and Dubai.
Fuck yeah, amazing.
And Abu Dhabi as well, because
Yeah.
I left a bit of my camera there. I left a bit of camera equipment there.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah.
Where from last time you were there?
I hadn't been in Dubai for maybe a year before that doing
Yeah,
shows.
okay.
But I went to Vietnam and did 3 shows, but there's loads of storms and stuff. So I was
yeah.
kind of chasing storms. Do you know what I mean? I'd get to my gig and the beach was destroyed and then they're the
Jesus.
gig's going to go ahead because everyone's so depressed about the storm. So we need something to lift us up. And I was helping to clean up the beach and stuff the next day with all these expats. It was wild.
That's crazy. I mean, it is storm season. I'm going off to Bali next week and I'm kind of worried because there's
You
just been
flew in one.
Yeah, I know. I flew in one. I flew in one yesterday, and I gotta say,
I was driving while you messaged me, and I was like, I don't feel safe in my Jeep. And then you're on a hummingbird, the wings.
It was just and it was so bumpy, in, and I when you're on a Ryanair, you're like, how good are these pilots?
How good are the planes? Just bits of fuselage coming off.
No, but I did actually do. My boyfriend got for me for my birthday a flying with confidence course from British Airways. So it's for nervous flyers. Dude, Danny, this was the funniest shit I've been to, and
was it a bag of coke? Just say he got you drugs.
Just Valium, right? Just
fly with confidence, 2 Valiums.
No, and I said to them, I'm like, can I take Valiums? They're like, we don't really support that. But it was wild because you do this a whole day course.
Yeah.
And pilots talk to you about how the plane flies and how safe it is and how much they have to study to be a pilot. And I'm like, yeah, but this is British Airways. What about Ryanair? What about if I'm flying in some friggin' Southeast Asian airline that's banned from EU airspace? Am I still gonna feel safe?
Do you know the Asian airline? It's called Emu. A comic pal of mine told me about it, and Lion Air is really, really bad.
So bad.
So my promoter years ago booked me on a flight, and then loads of Asian comedians are like, don't ever fly on that.
Yeah.
There's about 10 crashes a year that no one hears about. Lion Air is has atrocious safety
Anything
record.
Indonesian, I went, and that's what I was trying to say to them. They're like, why do you feel anxious? I'm like, because I'm flying on airlines that are banned from EU airspace.
So the Emu airline one, so the emu is the symbol for the airline, right?
Yeah.
The branding. Emus don't fly. And that's on the side of the plane. Imagine what kind of confidence is that going to give you?
They've just started a new airline in Australia now, starting next year, called Koala Airlines. So I'm again, has chlamydia? Is a free chlamydia on Koala Airlines?
Just everyone's got chlamydia and just gripping onto the seat beside them, looking cute.
Help us. Do you know it's that funny thing when you go to an airport and you see an airline that you've never heard of? This happens even in Europe. I'm like, what the fuck is that airline?
Yeah.
I've never seen that. But then I do. So they
Balenciaga Air.
I fucking wish. There was so then you talk to the pilots talk to you, and then the second half of the day is a psychologist that comes in and is like, this is why you're feeling this way. And blah, blah, blah. And then they take you up for a 30-minute flight around Heathrow. So it's Heathrow to Heathrow. But you can imagine the people on this course are people that have never flown before, people who have severely anxious. And so everyone's crying before you get on the flight. And then I'm like, now this is making me feel more anxious about going up on this thing. And then we taxied out, and then they're like, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we have to just return the plane because a guy just he didn't want to fly. He's like, get me off this plane.
No
Get me
way.
off this plane. So then they had to go back to the gate, get the guy off the plane, and then go back up again. And everyone was crying. And
So it's the first half of Armageddon.
Yeah, pretty much. I was just like, what the fuck? It was such a surreal experience, but it did actually really help. And
Really?
so yeah, really, it did help me a lot. And I totally recommend it for anyone who's
Top
a
tip
nervous
to any of our listeners and subscribers, we will put a link in the description of this video to the aforementioned
flying with confidence.
Flight confidence course.
But if not, just I still have the Valium with me though. Like yesterday, I was like flying and I was like bumpy, and I was like, I don't know, like yeah. But yeah, it's crazy, and we have to introduce our new mascot, a la Fufu, the fake Labubu.
It's a Vietnamese fake Labubu. Elena lost hers. So,
I did. I lost mine. I think it's in Prague. I don't know if it's at like Metro Comedy Club or someone stole it off my bag. But do you know what? After the year that I've had, I feel like that
it was bringing bad juju. So I brought out a worse quality, slightly suspicious Vietnamese one.
I know they can't even be fucked doing the actual thing face properly.
Yeah. It's like they removed its face of the Labubu, and that's the face that's underneath.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it looks like it's not quite right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So today we're talking about like Christmas moles, because it's Christmas, and Christmas just brings out, I think, the worst in people.
The worst in people for sure. Like, I'd love to say the best, but I can't remember a time when I can actually give you an example of people behaving well.
Like shopping or like work Christmas parties.
So I have my first, I had my first Christmas shows in Dubai, and I was like, I've never done that. I've never done a show in December.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is going to be really cool.
Yeah.
They were the first show. They were unhinged. There was a work Christmas party of 50 people. They were hammered. There was a Scottish guy like trying to like hook up with this chick, and just everything about it was like whatever. It was really messy, but I was really grateful because it actually gave me a bit of a warm up for what I'm about to face in Dublin for the next 2 weekends.
I don't know what it is about like work Christmas parties that just allows people, like, because I like now I've been self-employed for so many years. Yeah, but
it's literally the purge.
When I used to work in retail, and I remember like that Christmas party was insane. Like the accountant drugged one of the girls one year and like tried to like roofied her drink. Like I don't know if you were like saying. Then the following year there was like a massive punch up between like the main boss and like some like the, I don't know, sales manager or whatever. Like they had a full on brawl out the front. Then the following year, the year that I was there, the boss's daughter, her boyfriend worked in delivery, like in delivery section. And then he ended up fucking a girl in small goods that like in the disabled toilet. And the next day she got marched out. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's just like, and I was like, what?
Merry Christmas, everyone. Like the lad's getting cable tied by the police. The guy like suspiciously coming out of a disabled toilet.
And I was just like, and that was my first kind of thing into like a proper Christmas party where like it just all the frustrations of all the year just gets released. Like,
and then the problem is as well, like, I've seen this from the stage. I remember last year doing Christmas shows that were so rough.
Yeah.
I was like, I wish I had a GoPro on my chest.
Yes.
So people could see what I see. Do you understand what I mean?
Like the police are dashing.
Literally. You know the way like the cops, right? And I looked out and there was this table of lads and like their shirts. This is only like 8:30, right? And one of them's just like... and then they're getting up and like going in to do coke in the toilet. And I'm like, it's 8:30.
Yeah.
What's happening? And like...
It's crazy.
I drive around Christmas gigs. I'm not going to stay in town. I just get in and do the gigs.
I mean, I don't know. Like, it's one of those things where December, I rarely do shows. That's why I go to India in like December because like they don't really celebrate Christmas.
Yeah,
so,
same in Vietnam. Like they have a dinner on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And like their dad might dress up as Santa for the crack, but it's more like a Halloween-y thing.
Yeah, it's just not a time. Like Christmas, New Year's is like not a time to do gigs, but then also as well, like there's that expectation, or like they don't give a fuck about you. It's like, oh, I'm just here because we're like on a work Christmas thing, entertain me. And you're like,
you could be anything up there.
Yeah,
you could literally. You're about as important to them as the Christmas decorations hanging off the wall. Do you know what I mean?
Dance, monkey, dance.
Do you know where I had the most insane Christmas decorations?
Where?
Abu Dhabi.
Really?
I couldn't believe it. I did a gig and it was like Santa's grotto, like the effort that they go to
in a Muslim country.
It's insane.
Crazy.
They had a Christmas market, right?
Yeah. And is there a little baby Jesus?
Yeah. I got out of the car. We were having a bit of food before the gig, and there was a Christmas market, right?
Yeah.
My promoter's like, she's a legend. She's like, Daddy, do you want some mulled wine? And I'm sweating, right? And I was like, yeah, but I'm like, when in Abu Dhabi? So I'm sitting there drinking a mulled wine in Abu Dhabi, like sweating, and like there was like loads of stalls. The third stall, it's a tiny little Christmas market in Abu Dhabi. The third stall was an Irish woman selling framed pictures of Dublin.
Oh wow!
It's on my Instagram. Her name is Sarah. Shout out Sarah.
Wow. People like at the Christmas markets will really buy.
I said, you want to come to the gig for the crack? They'll give you some tickets.
Yeah.
She goes, my husband's in the bar and he's been on the piss all day, so I can't trust him to mind the stall.
it's so crazy how like Christmas markets have like been, and I think that brings like us to kind of like the differences in Christmas, like in a hot country versus like a cold country.
Like so run me through it, right? Because I've always like I lived in Australia.
Yeah.
I think I did a couple of Christmases in Australia. I did one in Vietnam like about 18 years ago.
Yeah. We did the one in Berlin.
Oh Jesus, yeah.
Yeah.
I blocked that out. I forgot about that madness.
That's because we drank 12 liters of mulled wine.
Oh my God.
That was insane.
Yeah, and then so like I always looked at Australian friends growing up or Irish friends who've lived in Australia, and my aunt lives in New Zealand.
Yeah.
So when we FaceTime them, on Christmas Day, they're like, "Oh, we just had our lunch. The lads are going for a swim.
Yeah.
They're just got their new bikes. They're going for a cycle." And like, we're freezing. There's been like 3 fights. 2 of my uncles nearly punched the head off each other. My mother's throwing shade at me. You know what I mean? Or whatever. Like,
yeah.
You know?
I mean, it's such a different thing because like even now, like I feel like going into Christmas when it's cold, like it doesn't feel like Christmas.
It doesn't feel right to you.
It doesn't feel right.
How does your start, right? So like what does your Christmas Eve into, say, you call it Boxing Day, don't you?
Boxing Day's on, the day after Christmas.
We don't, because we're Irish Republic. We
really?
We call it St. Stephen's Day.
Oh yeah, because you're Catholic. I mean, I don't know.
No, it's more like because we don't like that the English say Boxing Day, so we're like, we're not going to call it that.
Oh, that's
it's like us painting the English post boxes green.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
I think it's like, we have Boxing Day, which is like basically just the day that everyone goes and shops. Like,
oh wow, yeah.
So I used to work in retail, and like on Boxing Day, like it's horrible.
Yeah.
Like we'd have to be there at like 6 a.m. in the morning on Boxing Day, so you don't even get to enjoy Christmas.
Yeah, because you've got anxiety about having to go to work the next day.
So awful. And like, you know, I was working in Maya, Melbourne, which is like the main thing where like every year people would like wait out the front.
Was that in like
in Burke Street Mall?
Oh, on Burke Street Mall?
Yeah, I worked in that Maya, right?
Because I used to go in there all the time. I worked at the Elephant Wheelbarrow on the corner.
Yeah, right.
Wow, I know exactly what that is.
Yeah. And so like every Boxing Day, people would wait out the front at like 4 a.m. for like the Boxing Day sales.
But what are you actually saving on? Like, is it like tellies or handbags or what?
It's all just like, and like, and thing now is that like they're realizing that like no one wants to wait until like Boxing Day. So like now they're trying to do sales before Christmas. Like it's all like, it's just a marketing.
It's such nonsense. Like, but so like what would your Christmas Eve, right? Forget about the Boxing Day chaos.
Yeah.
What would so say you arrive home from wherever you're gigging on like the 22nd, 23rd, you catch up with the family. What does your Christmas Eve and Christmas Day look like in Geelong?
Geelong in G-Town on the farm, because we always have Christmas on the farm at Mum and Dad's, just because it's like super chill. I don't know, we've just always had it there.
Yeah.
But basically Christmas Eve is not a thing for us. I know in like Europe and like
do you go out in the piss in your like local pub?
No, I think some people do.
Yeah.
I never did, because like Christmas Eve for me was like Mum and me would do like the table, so we'd do like the table decorations, and then you'd
Sopranos.
like we'd have like last year was Sicilian theme, so we had
Carmella,
lemons and stuff.
bring in the Christmas gabagool.
But like legitimately, that was our job. But like other than that, you would go to like the Christmas carols in Domain, or like Christmas carols in like Geelong Centre.
Class. Is this in like a public square or a church?
Yeah. So cool. they have like the council puts it on. So like you do that because it's like, you know, the sun goes down at like 9:30 or like 10 o'clock. So
and
like everyone's out.
Together.
Sits nice. Together. And then Christmas Day is just like you wake up and like, I mean, when you're a kid, you just like wake up super fucking early because you're like, oh my God, Santa. Like,
is it not
come.
Weird as an Aussie? Okay, this is one thing I'm very curious about.
Yeah.
Christmas is synonymous with snow.
Yeah.
Santa's wearing the snow hat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The boots and everything.
Yeah.
Is it like, it must be a much more difficult lie to sell to an Aussie. Like, do you understand what I mean?
No, but I feel like it's like, because we're like, you know, we have all the same Christmas carols. Like, you know, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, and like let it snow, let it snow.
Fake footsteps if it was snowing, which is not often.
Yeah.
But it would be a bit frosty, so they would do
the fake reindeer, this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We would put out the front, like I would put out like carrots and grass for like the reindeer and like this and milk and stuff like that. But like I think it's just like, it's crazy because like we grew up with like let it snow, and like we're singing all these Christmas carols, and like it's fucking 40 degrees outside. And then they tried to make it work with like a couple of fucking like Christmas carols that were like, you know, Australian themed, but they just never really caught on.
Like what? Like what was it?
Oh, I can't even remember, but it was just like Santa, like I don't know, like in his sleigh, like it was so Aussie. I wonder
Santa's coming down in his falcon.
Yeah, it's pretty much that shit. I have to like find it for you, but like it's yeah, like that was like the one thing that we just, I don't know, we still, and then people would buy fake snow and like spray it on their window and spray it on their tree and shit, which probably is like asbestos, you know, like, I'm really trying to think.
No,
of,
look
like,
it up, go for
yeah,
it.
Yeah,
we
like,
can sort this in the edit.
Yeah, I know, like Aussie Christmas carols. I think it's like Christmas songs. Aussie jingle bells. What was that like? Aussie Bucko and Champs. I don't know if that's it. 12 Days of Christmas Australia. Maybe this
Play it
one
into
was
the
it.
mic.
Dashing through the bush in a rusty Holden ute, kicking up the dust, esky in the boot, Kelpie by my side, singing Christmas songs.
No.
It's summertime and I am in missing with shorts and thongs. Oh, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way.
That is.
Christmas in Australia on a scorching summer's day. Jingle bells, Christmas time is beautiful.
I love how you're like.
That's like,
I
I've
love how
never.
you're like, oh, it's going to be a Holden Commodore. Yeah, they say ute.
They
Like,
literally
you're
say
just like-
ute. I can't believe how many Australian references were fit in
Yeah.
such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
One thing I've been doing a lot of lately, I don't know if you've seen the Instagram reels, it goes, if you're ever feeling like you're in a bad mood,
Yeah.
here's Indian jingle bells. It's amazing.
My mum sent it to me the other day
Did she?
in a reel, and I showed my boyfriend, and I was like, I don't know what to feel about this because
Yeah.
it's like la la.
Yeah,
like,
how does
it's
he feel about it?
I know. I mean, it's like it makes you because it's all like the Sikh, like Punjabi, like
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah.
where he's from and stuff like that. But it's like I think that's what I love about like the Punjabi culture as well. Is they're like, yeah, if I like we'll just like do this kind of thing because it'll bring people joy. As
Yeah,
well.
and they
Like,
love a bit of dance and a bit of crack.
Yeah,
I remember being in Vietnam, like this a long time ago, like whatever. I was in my like early 20s. And I was near enough to Nha Trang. Nha Trang is totally
Yeah,
different
yeah,
then.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
just like
yeah.
a little fishing village.
Right.
And I was going out with an Australian girl. And I remember it was weird because neither of us had ever been outside of our respective countries for
Right.
Christmas.
Yeah.
And I remember getting like lobster off this old lady on the side of the road. And like they had like a little setup. It was street food.
Yeah.
And I remember it was 14 Aussie dollars for lobster for two of us and drinks and whatever. And I was like, right, okay, it isn't, you're away from your family and all that, but I was like,
Yeah.
this is phenomenal value. Like, this is unbelievable. This is worth the 2 flights and, you know.
It's that kind of thing. I mean, I've been away for Christmas a couple of times, and like I've done Christmas in Italy with my Italian family.
How's
which is,
that?
Like, it's good, but do you know what? I think it's like whatever Christmas you've grown up with
That's the
is
one
the
you want.
Christmas that you
Yeah.
crave. Like, and now like since 2020 when I wasn't home for Christmas, I was like, I don't care how much it costs me. I don't
Just
care
get
how.
back.
Just get back and have Christmas because it's like, and then once you have more kids, like when my brother had kids, like
Yeah.
it just makes it so much more fun. But like
Yeah,
we,
they're delighted to see you. You're the cool aunt that's rolling
yeah,
in.
like
Yeah.
and like last year it was really nice. Like we played growing up we would play like backyard cricket or we'd
Cool.
like take our like bikes around. Like if it was really hot we'd go to the beach. But like
Class.
most of the time like we'd just be like fucking like,
Yeah,
you know,
hanging
everyone's
out.
like
And like,
fucking full.
what's your Christmas dinner look like? Because
So
like,
we have so much food, it's ridiculous. Like, you know, like my family is like insane. So like we would like start cooking at like 9 a.m. in the morning and there'd be roast like on it when we would have everyone around, it would
Yeah.
be like roast pork, roast duck, roast beef or like a roast lamb.
Yeah.
Then there'd be prawns, some kind of maybe like seafood, other kind of seafood, squid or like whatever, maybe chicken. And then there'd be a bunch of salads and potatoes.
sounds
and
amazing.
Like, and then one year, like we forgot the potatoes.
imagine doing that in Ireland. The police would be called.
I know, like literally everyone was so angry. Like it's so funny how like people like any
We're
other
so
day,
privileged. Like, we need to chill out.
right?
You know
It's
what I
like
mean?
who forgot the fucking potatoes? And you're like, who cares? They're potatoes. Like we can have bread. Like that's still a carb, you know? Like
Like my aunt has been in New Zealand for over 20 years now,
Yeah.
right? So one of the last Christmases she was living in Wicklow, which is where I
yeah,
grew up.
yeah.
And it was me, my mum, my granny, my aunt. We were all there, my uncles. And me and my uncle got so hammered the night before. We ended up at like a house party of a friend of mine. And like we were drinking till like 6 a.m.
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
disgraced. I came down. I was so hungover. Like I was definitely still drunk from the night before.
Yeah.
And they had, I remember my mum had these like golden kind of placemats, but they were like plastic. And you put your plate on it. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like they're like
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like something you put like a candle display on.
Oh
It
right.
was just like a gold plastic plate, but it was a plate to put your plate on. And all the food started coming out, and I was just so hungover. I got a giant scoop of mashed potato, and I just went thud, and then I just went, fuck. And my aunt's just like, And it was just me, and no one else had their plates. So I just wasn't thinking, and I just spoon mash onto like the placemat thing. It was the perfect symbol of Christmas.
I know. Well, what about you? Like, because Christmas is obviously like a cold thing. Like, here, do you do like mass in the morning or
Yeah,
like?
no, I haven't got to mass in years. Like, but like when I was a kid, midnight mass was a huge thing in Ireland. Did you do that?
We never did it. I think Nonna did it a couple of times and like tried to bring us, and Mum, like my parents are pretty
I'm the same, but it was more of a social thing, and particularly when I was living in Wicklow when I was a kid. Everyone, the whole village would go to midnight mass, right? And when I was in, I'm going to say when I was probably about 12, 13, something like that.
Yeah.
When I was in my teens, the Irish government actually, with the church, had to make a decision because people were getting so hammered in the pub. They were turning up at midnight mass out of their bracket. So the whole country had to literally move midnight mass. Like, it was agreed across all the churches back to 10 p.m. And then people just started drinking earlier. So people just, right? And then one of my good mates is from Connemara in the west of Ireland, and he was hammered, and he was only 18, right? And his mum was in the church, and I think she did the choir or whatever. Yeah. And she arranged for him to do this thing called the prayers of the faithful. Do you know prayers of the faithful?
Yeah.
So you get up and you read your whatever, and she was like, this is a huge responsibility. You need to get up and sing. Excuse me, not sing. You just need to read your prayer.
Right.
But he didn't go to church. She was kind of vouching for him. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was for the people who go to church all the time. So he gets absolutely as shit-faced as you can get. Turns up, and all my mates went with him because they were like, well, let's see how this goes, right? He gets up onto the pulpit and he has his little mass card. Yeah. And he reads his prayer, and there's 7 grannies behind him. So you read your prayer, you get off, and that's it. Yeah. He was so hammered, right? He read his prayer and then proceeded to read all of their prayers. So he took their prayers, and then they're just standing there livid, right? And then he actually got pulled off the pulpit. He was physically removed off the pulpit before he read any more prayers. And one of our mates, his name is Aim, and he's so funny. He was down the back, couldn't breathe. He was laughing so much. And he just goes, my friend's surname was Gormley. Yeah. Our mate just goes, greedy prayers, Gormley. Everyone called him greedy prayers. For years. It's such a weird nickname.
Those women would have been so pissed.
Oh, that was all. He ruined their year.
Yeah. Because they would have lived for that moment. Because when you ask to read something, when you're at school in class and you that's all you think about. You're okay, I'm gonna get up.
I'm gonna nail this.
Yeah. And especially God people, they're I'm gonna read this prayer so good. And they get up and they're like,
and my mate's steamed after drinking 8 pints of cider. You know what I mean? It's just,
chill, Karen. Have a glass of wine. Have a glass of blood of Christ.
Yeah, it's strange, and my mum and my granny, I just find them hilarious. At Christmas, because they always speak about me like I'm dead.
Yeah,
because I don't see my family that much. I see them all individually, but it's very rare we're together. Maybe a few times a year. Same as you.
Yeah.
And I remember being over. My uncle lives in the UK, and we're only allowed to go over every 3-4 years because someone always breaks the dishwasher, and then he goes, he's brilliant. And then he's by the time we're leaving, he's you're not coming back for a few years.
Yeah,
you need that gap.
Yeah.
But I remember being there once, and my mum and granny were there, and he was in a different house, and he had this basement, right? And he kind of converted the basement to put a fridge in for drink and stuff, and he put a camp bed there. And it was literally I was being held hostage. It was a proper, and my family name, my mum's side is Fitzpatrick, right? And they were calling it Fitzel's basement, right? So I was in a windowless basement for 10 days over Christmas.
Oh my God, how depressing.
I know. So I would literally come up like Harry Potter from under the stairs.
Just all white and pasty.
Yeah, so the kitchen door was here, and then there was a toilet, and then my basement was just down there. But I literally it's like the flowers in the attic. Do you remember that creepy movie? Yeah. So I'd come up. I was like, I can't live like this. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I remember going into the kitchen, and I'd make a sandwich from leftovers, which I'm obsessed with. Yeah. I love that.
The leftovers part of Christmas is the best.
Elite.
I think last year, a couple of years ago, I think there was no leftovers, and we were so pissed off. We're the next day, we're like, what, we have to fucking cook?
Doing bumps of prawn tails. That's all that's left.
Sucking it out.
Fume.
Or what, I have to eat fucking crackers.
I go up, and I remember making a sandwich, and I don't know what it is about parents, but Irish family in particular. My mother and my granny just watch me, and they don't say anything, and it creeps me out, and they'll just be like, And like, why aren't you watching telly or speaking to each other?
Yeah.
They're just like, I just feel a bit like, for someone who stands on stage for a living, it's weird that that's what makes me really uncomfortable.
Well, yeah, I think it's also, I know that feeling though, because like sometimes like I'll just like stare at people while they're in the kitchen, like eating.
Yeah. It's weird, like kind of mindfulness.
Yeah, I know. Like,
and I'll make a sandwich, and then my granny will just lean to my mother like they're watching a football match, and she'll go, "You always had a great appetite." And I'm like, why are you talking about me like I'm dead?
Yeah.
It's like,
and that's the thing, like if you eat too much or too, like if you're really skinny, they're like, you should be eating. And then if you don't eat, they're like, oh, it's a bit fat.
anytime I lose weight, my mum and granny, tell me I've gone very fat in the face.
Yeah.
And anytime I put weight on, they tell me I've lost weight.
I don't know if this is a Catholic thing, but like Italians are the same. Like I remember when I first went to like see my family in Italy, and I was actually anorexic at this point. Like I was so fucking skinny, and they're like,
I need a bit of that. I've piled it on.
Yeah, it's not great. But like I remember,
Was
like
this after your goth era?
Yeah, this was after my goth era. This is when after I went to like drama school, and they're like, you need to lose weight, but don't do anything stupid, but you need to lose weight. And I was like, well, what does that fucking mean? That means don't eat. And I
here's some Slim Fast that has mealworms.
I was like 48 kilos. Like I was fucking tiny. Yeah. It's like,
Jesus.
really bad. So I remember, and I went to Italy for the first time, and like they were just looking at me like, they're like, oh, you need to eat, eat, and they kept trying to force me food, and I was like, I literally I'm gonna vomit.
That's
it's
my
crazy.
dream. Like I would love to be force fed food, and
right. And they're like, you're too skinny, and then like I think 2 years later I went back, and I obviously was like at a more healthy weight, and they're like, tu sei grassi, which means like you're fat. I was like, I put on 3 kilos, and you're like the fat. Like
the further I go in life, right, I just realize you just can't win.
Yeah.
There's never any right answer to anything. Like it's proper damned if you do, damned if you don't.
It's
You know
like
what I
one
mean?
of those things, like, and I hate that as well about like kind of, and like Christmas is all about food, which I really struggled with when I was like really struggling with food. But like, but I like being Italian, I think is quite similar maybe to Irish.
Oh yeah, like an Irish mother and an Italian mother, like it's their full-time job is force feeding everyone food.
Yeah.
Like it's just the way it is.
But then it's also like, I mean, Indians as well, like with my boyfriend's family and stuff, it's all about just like eating.
You eat.
Like, and then while you're eating, you talk about what you'll eat next.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like
I'm so there for that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like I met up with a couple of Vietnamese comics when I was in Vietnam, and a mate of mine, an American comic, said, you need to connect with this guy.
Yeah.
So I just messaged him and I said, how you doing? I said, Jack, I'm Danny. I'm sitting here having a bit of food in Dublin. I heard you're the man on the ground. And he picked me up and he brought me to like some of the most insane, but you have to get motorbike taxis everywhere because it's Saigon or else it'll take you forever. Yeah. But he sent me this location and he put the address in. I couldn't even write it because there was just so many mad letters. Jumped on the back of a Grab motorbike. And we were in the hood. We were in District 7, right? To anyone in Saigon. There's not a lot of tourists in District 7, right? We went down back alleys, and then we went down an alley. We went through washing on the motorbike. So it was like, you know what I mean? So I'm like ducking under washing. The motorbike was like this far from the edges of this, like, you know what I mean? Damn. I was there going, man, I'm going to get murdered. Yeah. We come out in this weird courtyard, and there's all these topless Vietnamese gangsters with like full tattoos all over them. And they're just like, they weren't angry. They were just looking at me going,
what the fuck are you
doing
here?
What the fuck are you doing here? And then I look over and my little like Vietnamese mate is over there, and I was like, I'm with the little small fat guy. And then they're like, ugh. And then he pointed over and they bring you a bucket of beers. Oh wow. And you just drink as many as you want, and when you're finished you just throw it on the floor and they clean up everything afterwards. So we had all these mad like snails and like clams, and it was like one of the best food experiences of my life. Yeah. It's amazing.
I mean, I think that's the thing with like every culture is always about food. Like they're so proud of it. Like every country's sort of like except maybe the Germans and the Dutch. Like you can't really be proud of that.
The
food,
Dutch, like the Dutch food, I think is great if you're like high or you're hungover. Yeah. Like it's kind of fatty, salty. It's good junk food, I suppose.
Yeah, I think when you don't have a good like national cuisine is like when you never like see like have you ever seen a Dutch restaurant abroad?
No. Like one or two Dutch bars in Prague, but like that's just for drinking. Do you know what I mean?
Like it's like I've never been like, you know, somewhere in like Southeast Asia where I'm like, you know, there's like Irish pubs, there's maybe like a German Bavarian kind of thing, but I've never been like, oh, let's go to a Dutch restaurant tonight, you know?
Some guy invited me to a restaurant in Saigon and it was called like the Union Jack or something, and I was like, listen man, I really appreciate it and best of luck with your business, but that's never going to happen. It's like my great grandfather would turn in his grave. Are you joking? Like,
Yeah,
I'm not going to go all the way to Vietnam and go, yeah, so we do a lovely Sunday roast. I'm in fucking Vietnam. Like, it's like when I see people eating English breakfast and stuff in Spain, I'm like, what are you doing?
Oh, that is the worst.
Like, if I go to Italy, I haven't been there for a long time, but I met a guy in Vietnam. And he was talking to me about Sicily.
Yeah.
And he goes for like a month a year. And he said like the off-peaks times, which is when we get to go away, because I gig all summer and stuff. So I would definitely go there for like a month and just go for it. Like,
yeah, but I think that's the thing when you're La Dolce Vita. It's like when you're traveling, you sort of have to eat, like you sort of eat what they, like when I go now to India, like I'll have dosa for breakfast or idli, and then I'll have like, you know, dal, or sometimes I have more like, you
dal
know,
is amazing. And
it's so good.
It's so good for you. If you're like, no one ever told me in college like that you could just make dal and it would sort you out for the week.
Like it's
like,
or khichdi, like that's the one thing that if you're ever feeling sick, like you have it, and then if you have it with a bit of yogurt and stuff, it's like, it's so healing.
Brings
like,
you to life.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, that's what the last few weeks, like that's all I think.
In Ireland, they just give you like flat 7-Up.
Yeah, or like fucking Coca-Cola. It's like, yeah, drink some Coke. Like, it's crazy. I think also family is like such a big, like, annoying thing for Christmas. Like, and being Italian, I love a big Christmas. Like, this year is going to be a bit, I think this is going to be a bit sad because my aunt passed away, and like, and then my auntie and uncle and that are going away. So it's like, it's going to be only like probably like,
it's like a compacted Christmas.
Like, it's only going to be like 8 of us, which for us is like small. Normally we have like 20 to 25 people every year.
Wow.
And like dad brings in like, so we have our like normal table, and then he brings in a full on other trestle table. So we have like 20 people like generally every year. And
you can play like beer pong games on the other trestle table so it doesn't go to waste.
Yeah, right. Oh no, like, because we have the fucking shed, so he just like dismantles it and like pops it down in the fucking garage. And I remember one year, this was like I love big Christmases, and one year I was like, when my nonna was still alive, and I think as a kid you don't realize how much people hate each other in families until you get to an adult.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, you don't really understand what tension and hatred is.
Yeah, you're like kind of like, why don't I see my cousins? Yeah. And then like you're like, oh, my mum and aunt had a fight, but then you're like, I don't understand why we all just can't be friends.
Yeah.
And then you get to an adult and you're like, I totally fucking understand.
I never want to see that motherfucker for the rest of my life.
And then you're like, what the fuck? And I remember this one year I was like, oh, it'd be so nice to have all our extended family, you know, like 30 people, like the family, like whatever. But what I didn't realize is my grandma didn't like her brother-in-law. And so I invited like everyone, then it just started this shit fight. Yeah, like my grandma was just like seething in the corner the whole day. And then she was like looking at my great uncle and just like death staring him the whole day.
Wow.
And then
I'd hate to get shade off an Italian granny.
Like a nonna, right?
I'd say
and
that would be
then the
intense.
next day she fully just went, this was also the start of her dementia, like whatever, but like she went fully ballistic, and then at my mum, and then wrote mum a letter and was like, she's like on a piece, not even
mole,
like,
a mole letter.
Fucking like this, like lined, you know, those like lined things with a fucking biro.
Wow.
And she's like, how dare you invite them over? You like them more than me. You can wipe your ass with this piece of paper, right? And my mum's like, what the fuck just happened? And then didn't speak to her for 2 years, all because I wanted a big Christmas.
You're
with everyone there.
the final boss of Italian Christmas Grinch. You're the Grinch.
I was the Grinch, and I was like, I just wanted all of us to like,
I'm coming along, Mr. Grinch. Just inviting people. You're like Oprah. You get an invite. You get an invite. You get an invite.
Everyone gets an invite. And then didn't realize that people hated each other, and then therefore my nonna didn't speak to my mum for 2 years.
Wow.
Because of that Christmas.
I think keep it simple. So about 5 minutes away from here is my local pub called Clark's. So I do a Christmas show there every year. That's a bit of crack.
Yeah.
And I only really started going for Christmas pints there maybe 2 years ago, and there's a local electrician, right? I think it's actually a really cool tradition, and to anyone listening, I think you should start this in your local pub, be it in Australia, Vietnam, Ireland, whatever. Maybe not
South Korea.
We have maybe not a Muslim country, and you're about to understand why. So there's a local electrician. And they don't do food or anything in the pub, but the pints are amazing. Like, you know, the Guinness is great. It's really nicely decorated. But he buys 5 Christmas hams every year.
Oh, wow.
And they cook them in the kitchen, even though there's a kitchen in the venue, right?
Yeah.
So they bake these hams, and he basically carves like a pile of like the most amazing Irish ham, then with buttered white bread, and gives it out, and everyone just makes ham sandwiches.
Amazing.
And drinks pints. And it's like, I was like, man, that, I don't know, like I don't think I've ever been happier than a couple of years ago. I was like, I don't know if I'll have a pint 4 pints deep like a fistful of ham sandwiches. I was like, this is living. Like, this is
Just
this
get some
is-
ham hanging
Yeah,
off the
yeah,
end.
yeah. I was like, I think I got gout. Like,
Do you know what I think? Like, and that's the joy of Christmas. You know,
Yeah.
is like those little things that you can do, like that just bring joy. So yeah, I think if we can leave anyone like our
yeah, I think
moles-
do you know what we don't want this podcast to be like full of negativity and rants as well. This whole thing is about us having a bit of a laugh, and as difficult as 2025 has been for absolutely everyone. Like, there's not one person in the world who hasn't had a rough 2025.
I know it's like something's happening in the world
for sure. There's a shift in the dynamic of the planet, but I think it's important to just take the positives out of the year, and hopefully leave all the negative shit behind you.
And then if not, just listen to Australian Christmas carols.
Listen to Australian Christmas carols whilst drinking a pint of Guinness and eating a ham sandwich.
I think that's Christmas in a nutshell, with a bit of Christmas cricket. I don't know. Now it's not loading.
We'll edit that in afterwards. We'll play that Christmas tune in at the end, right?
Sounds like a great thing. So thank you guys for listening.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Absolutely. And don't forget to like and subscribe on all of our platforms, and keep an eye out as well. We've got some very exciting live show announcements coming soon in some very, very strange places around the world. But from myself, Danny O'Brien,
And Elena Gabrielle,
Happy Christmas, Moles!
Kicking up the dust, Esky in the boot, Kelpie by my side, singing Christmas songs. It's summertime and I am in my singlet shorts and thongs. Oh, jingle bells, jingle bells.